Long rides are commonplace in cycling, and it's easy to see why. You get an amazing sense of achievement, you get to go to places that you might not have seen before, and after you've recovered from them at least, they get you fitter.
Yeah, but long rides aren't actually all that easy. It takes a degree of fitness, willpower and focus. But here are 10 things that you can probably do with knowing to help you on your way. 10 things.
10 things. Actually scrub that. This first piece of advice relates to the day leading up to your big event, namely carbo loading. Now, carbo loading became very popular in many endurance sports in the 1990s and does have some merit.
Yeah, subtly increasing your intake of carbohydrates in the 24 hours leading up to your event should mean that your muscles have got more glycogen, which basically means that you've got more fuel for your ride, so you should be able to ride further.
Sit down.
We can't stress enough just how important it is to start a long ride conservatively. If you set out too fast, then you're going to be burning carbohydrate instead of fat as fuel. And as we all know, unfortunately we've got a limited supply of carbs, even if we loaded up the night before, so we can see it's a bad idea.
So for the first third of your ride, make sure you ride really comfortably. Just settle into your ride. And once you've got into it, you can then assess how you're feeling and whether you're capable of upping the pace and, more importantly, sustaining it.
You feeling settled, mate?
Yeah, pretty settled.
Cool. Should we up the pace?
No, actually I quite like it like this. Along similar lines is the advice of not going over into your threshold. This can really dig into your reserves and deplete your energy stores very quickly.
Yeah, occasionally though it's going to be unavoidable if, for example, you face a short, steep climb, but general rule is that you try and avoid going anaerobic.
Fueling from the start is really important. If you wait till you're actually hungry or thirsty, it's probably too late.
Yeah, and you also need to experiment with exactly what you're eating and drinking on the bike. Some people have cast iron stomachs and can tolerate anything. Other people need to be a little bit more particular so they don't get uncomfortable. You got any more of that, mate?
No, that's all mine, mate. Last one.
As we said at the start, mental strength and focus are a really important part of long rides. It can be hard staying motivated for hours on end. So it's a good idea to remind yourself of why you're doing it, focusing on the positives and then blocking out the negatives.
Yeah, try not to think of your discomfort and the pain in your legs. Try instead to focus on what it will feel like once you've reached your ultimate goal. Tell yourself that you're feeling good.
You're looking good, mate.
Thanks, mate. So are you actually, mate.
Thanks, I'm feeling good.
Often on a long ride, the ultimate goal of reaching the finish can feel like an eternity away. So it's a good idea to have some intermediate goals you can tick off along the way. Another positive thing on which to focus your mind.
Yeah, it could be a feed zone if you're on an organised ride, it could be a town or a village on your route, or a good one is the top of each climb along the way. Slipstreaming can save you a huge amount of power while still going at the same speed. Now up to 30% in fact in the right conditions. So you should really take advantage of it if you're riding with other people or particularly if you're in a mass participation ride. Now don't annoy other people by just sitting on, but try and slip into a group that's going the right pace for you.
Now if you want to be sneaky, try doing your turns on the front up a hill, and that way the riders behind won't get as much advantage as the road tilts upwards, leaving you to spend your time sat on, slipstreaming on the flats.
Now, you're not exactly going to be able to get very far at all on your ride if you've had a mechanical problem and you haven't got the tools to fix it. So on every ride, you need to take, at the very least, spare tubes, a multi-tool, and then, of course, a pump as well. And as well as being able to ride further, you'll also not get stuck in the wilderness.
Along the same lines is the importance of dressing correctly. Heading out for a ride in cold, freezing wet conditions without the appropriate sort of clothing on is a recipe for disaster.
Now, admittedly, good quality cycle clothing can be quite expensive, but it will make quite a big difference to how comfortably you can ride in a wide range of weather conditions. And if you're more comfortable, you're more likely to be able to ride further. Now, obviously one of us is not dressed for the condition today, but you get the idea. Last but by no means least, think about aerodynamics on the bike. You can become more aero without spending any money. Simply lower your body at the front end so that less of your body is taking the wind. This will mean that you're riding at the same speed for less effort, or riding faster for the same amount of effort. Either way, you'll be able to ride further. And you shouldn't just finish with your body either. Clothing and equipment can also make quite a significant difference. I'm talking about aerodynamic helmets, tight-fitting clothing, an aero frame and aero wheels. Individually, they might not make a huge difference, but put together, it can become something quite significant. Aerodynamics is not something that you're going to be able to feel. You'll still be putting the effort in, your legs will still ache, but you'll be going faster.
So there's a whole raft of tips that are going to help you on long cycle rides. Things before, things during, and extra preparation as well.
Yeah, and for our video on how to cycle further, click up here, and our other video on how to cycle, find the
perfect route.
Perfect route, but I think, to be honest with you, mate, I think we found it already.
Yeah, we have.
But anyway, for the perfect route, we do this one.
So there's a whole raft of things then that will help you on your long rides. Things before and things during.
And for our video on how to ride longer, click up here. And for our video for how to find a perfect route, although I think me and Simon have found ours today, click down here.
Yeah, and because GCN brings you such amazing places as this, I think you really should subscribe, and you can do that by clicking on me and Matt and a slight bit of sunburn. It's bakingly hot. As we said at the start, it's really important